One thing that I love about chords is the fact that there are countless ways of playing them. And I'm not just referring to adding more notes and more extensions. I'm also referring to the way we play them, the tone, the dynamics, and the approach that we take when we play a chord progression. Now, there are steps that I follow all the time that really help me figure out how I want to take a simple chord progression to a whole new level. And today I want to show you how I do that. I'm going to show you this process. And we're going to focus on two different techniques, the strumming and the fingerstyle, so that you can really see the difference between both techniques and the colors and dynamics that both techniques can give you. First things first, we need a chord progression. I thought we would stick with something pretty easy. We're going to play an E minor, a G major, a D major, and then the C and the D. It's a pretty easy chord progression. Just a few things though. I play the G major like this. I never really play the A string. And I like to play the C major like this with the low E string fret 3, so that I don't have to worry about muting the low E string when I play the C. And I also have more bass on this chord. The tip number one focuses on dynamics. We want to try to make these simple chords as beautiful as possible. When it comes to strumming, you never want to strum everything the same. Instead, you want to diversify the strumming and try to emphasize both the low end and the top end of the guitar. For example, even with the finger picking technique, make sure that you don't play everything the same and focus on the tone. Make sure that it sounds beautiful. And once you're able to make these very simple chords sound beautiful, then we can add extensions to these chords. For example, we can add minor 7th, major 7th chord, and add 9 and minor add 9 chords. Now, extensions don't have necessarily to be played all the time, and you don't have to go crazy with it. Just use few additional notes to really transform the basic chords into something a little bit more musical, like this. Same story with the fingerstyle. We can tackle the additional note, the extended notes, and really decide which strings we want to play to change the color of the chord progression. For example, now the step number 3 will be to make the chords more rhythmic by using techniques such as the hammer-on and pull-off. Now with this approach, we can change the internal voicing of a chord like this. We can also do that with fingerstyle. The approach is exactly the same. Now with this approach we can change the notes of the chord. For example, the E minor chord, I will just go on and off with the index finger or with the middle. For the G major, I can do that on the G string for number 2. For the D major, I can do that with the index or with the middle. And for the C, I can do it with the index finger. Now in the next step we are going to add more notes to the chords, and it's going to sound more like a melody. Obviously with the finger picking technique it's easier to do that, as we can select which string we are playing, and rather than just strum the whole chord we can just play the bass note of a chord like this. Now the scale that I'm using here, obviously the E minor pentatonic scale, which is the easiest one. But also the E minor scale. When I add the melody, I like to keep the chords simple, as I don't want things to be too busy or to overplay too much. So this is a pretty easy example that I hope you like. Now in the last step, I try to combine all these things and put together a chord progression that can be played with strumming and fingerstyle. Now obviously here dynamics are really important, as we try to diversify the way we play the chords. So I can, for example, strum the chord and then add a few notes with the finger picking technique, like this. This is how we can take a chord progression to the next level step by step. Now the cool thing is that you can spend as much time as you want on each step, and you can decide to play everything with strumming or everything with the finger picking technique. It's totally up to you. I'm gonna leave you to practice this. Let me know if you like this lesson in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time for another lesson.